Hey, what's everybody? What's up, everybody? We're back for another Do That But Better, episode 11. We're talking about having a coach, and today I'm here with one of my favorite people, and this is my wife, Natalie, Dr. Natalie McGathy.
Hi.
We're a house of learned doctors, and so today we're talking a little bit about having a coach. In our world right now, especially in the online world, there are so many different types of coaches, and I feel like coaches were originally left just for sports. And
Yeah,
now,
that's the connotation that you have.
right.
You're a sports coach. You don't think about other types of coaches.
Yeah, you think whistle, and you think short shorts and a beer belly, and possibly angry at life. And now...
That's not what I was thinking.
I guess that's just me. But there's tons of benefits to having a coach, and we wanted to talk a little bit about it. And I was recently talking to my wife about coaches, and I thought that she brought up some really cool perspectives on it.
Yeah.
So welcome to Do That But Better.
Do you want me to talk about my school? In
Yeah.
school, it's like we have coaches. So
Yeah.
your teachers are coaches. But then when I was in grad school working on my thesis, I had to get an advisor. And the advisor it's not just your teacher. He's not just teaching you new stuff. He does teach things, but it's more like guiding your path and helping you if you want to get to a certain point. They can help you break down this big, massive project and other things that you need to do into manageable sized pieces. And that was good for me to obtain my degree, but also so much in life that comes up. I can go back and think about the advice that my advisor gave me. Mm-hmm. The one that I'm always thinking about is that you should always have three things going on at the same time. Like one project that you're wrapping up, one that you're like currently working on, and one that you're planning for the future. And I'm not sure I would have like understood that if I didn't have that like close relationship with my advisor.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I was looking up the definition of a coach, mm-hmm. just to go, all right, if we're going to talk about what the heck is it? And I found out that it is a horse-drawn carriage. I was like, that is not very helpful.
It's not helpful.
And really, there wasn't much of a definition beyond that, like for a coach.
Oh, wait a second. The horse-drawn carriage helps you get from point A to point B.
Wait, and so that's actually where the coach came from. So they started using the
carriage came first. The horse-drawn carriage came first.
Yeah, and they started using it, and so they were using the term coach for, it was almost like a tutor. And if you had a kid in school who wasn't doing very well, then they would have a coacher who would guide them, sort of like the person driving the coach. So they were guiding it. So it wasn't just a teacher.
Yeah. It
was somebody to help you guide along. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And really, when you start thinking about it, the idea of having coaches for things beyond sports is so prevalent now. There's life coaches, there's business coaches, you name it, there's something. Yeah. And I've definitely, I've sort of ran the gamut. I just playing sports all my life and having my dad coaching us and, always had somebody really guiding you for the different things that you wanted. And now with business coach and just mentorships, mm-hmm. I think is so important. And when you think about it, I think that everybody has a coach, whether they know it or not. And so whether they're just watching social media and they're like, well, this person said that you're supposed to drink red wine because it has antioxidants, right? They're coaching you, they are guiding you. and even if you're not paying for it or whatever it is, and there's...
What's the difference between influence and coach? Because I would say that that's more like influencing you, not coaching you.
So yeah, that's a great question. I would say, like, only because I had to think about it right now.
Yeah.
But
sorry to throw you
no,
off.
that's right. I think that if you are just getting billboards, boom, 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 it's an influencer, right? So you're driving past it, you've seen McDonald's signs a million times, and then finally you turned in because you're like, oh, I'm hungry, and they have fries, right? Like, I feel like that was an influencer. And then you might have somebody who you're following, like, and you're following everything that they're saying.
Yeah.
And, so for me, I would say, so I was following Travis Mash for a long time, and then eventually I paid for actual coaching.
Yeah.
And, somebody like Zach Evanesh or things like that. But actually, Zach Evanesh, so I've done like a certification with him. But beyond that, I listened to so many of his podcasts. I read his books, things like that. And to me, I was getting coached.
Yeah.
Through all these things.
I could see that. Yeah.
Right. And now
that's more intentional. I think that coaching is definitely more intentional. And then, yeah, it makes sense that you can get coached by someone even if you don't have direct contact with them, if they're putting together things that are intentional.
Right. And
you're following it in an intentional way.
Right. And so I've had multiple coaches like that, but then also, paying for a coach. And so like eventually it was like, yeah, Travis, I want some help. Let's put together a specific program for a specific problem. I wanted to increase my Olympic lifts. I wanted to get more knowledge on how to go about a Olympic weightlifting competition.
Yeah.
And how to train for that. And so then I got a little bit deeper in a very personal relationship like that.
Yeah.
And same thing, I had Angelo and Marcus, and I'm starting with Mary. And I think that if we're not, like, so we can be unintentionally getting coached, or we can intentionally find, this is the problem that I'm having right now. And this is like, what are the steps that I need to overcome this problem?
Yeah.
And I think that that's so important, especially as an adult. We do that a lot as a kid, whether it's having just a teacher for school. It's like, hey, my parents knew that I needed to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, and so here's somebody who's going to guide you through that.
Yeah.
And same thing when it comes to sports. But as an adult, lots of times we go, I've got my certification. I know these things. Hey, I haven't
learning.
Yeah, I know nutrition because I haven't died yet, right? and we sort of stop learning, but we often have these little problems, and we just chalk it up to, well, I know, but.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst when someone says, I know. It's like, no. Right. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah. But so now, like, these are the perfect times to find a coach. And actually, I think that even in CrossFit, we can have, you can have a group-led class, but not necessarily be coached, right? And
not at your gym.
Not at my gym. That's right. That's one of the things we really focus on.
Yeah.
But so just because you have whether even just the name, I think that just because you have the name doesn't mean that you're actually doing it. So it's like, are you finding what I want, and then what are the steps to get there? And I think that that's super important when you're looking for a coach.
Yeah. At your gym, I think it's great that like you have like your overarching programming, and you even have like this month we're working on these things, and then just like my advisor, you take that big overarching goal and you break that into like manageable pieces that are measurable. So it's like, okay, these days we're gonna do hip bridges and whatever, and all of that is supposed to increase your, what is it? Posterior chain. Posterior chain.
Posterior chain. Booty.
all that is supposed to like work toward
Booty, back, and
enhancing your posterior chain. So not only so you have that intentional programming throughout the year, throughout the month, throughout the week, and then you have individuals guiding you in that programming. And all your coaches are like on the same page. So it's like you come together and you're like, okay, we're, this is what we're doing. These are our goals. Here's how we're getting to our goals.
Yeah, actually, so I like to think, like, if you went to a spin class, right? Now, like, number one, has the coach ever talked to you, like, just about what your goals are coming to this spin class, right?
Yeah.
And
that's not the same. That's just like exercise.
Well,
like,
right, and so
move for.
Well, so now you could say that my spin coach, right? And I don't necessarily feel that, like, so that is somebody like it's almost like telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing.
Leader.
There you go. Yeah.
Leader.
More of they're leading it. And like, do you know what the goal is? If I come into a spin class, what is the goal? And I think that, like, when you get into coaching, it's more, all right, hey, number one, what are your goals for being here in the first place, right? Yeah. And so actually, like, that's why we do our intros, and we want to find out who or what people are looking for, and then we can start going from there. Because even day to day, if you do have that personal relationship, even just like your mentor, you go, all right, well, here's the work that we've been doing. I've seen you here 3 days this week. Today we're going really heavy, and you also told me that you haven't been sleeping because you have a new baby, right? And it's like, oh,
they know you.
Well, then guess what? Maybe you shouldn't be going super. Hey, Lisa, can you turn that down?
Can you turn that down, kid?
No.
We're online.
Yeah, we're online. So
wait, can I need to do this.
Go take it upstairs.
Take it
No,
Come on in, Liesl.
Say hi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you take that upstairs? Welcome to
She
Do
has
That
a
But
fashion
Better.
coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, Dad. Why?
Yeah. Well, so we're on Facebook right now.
But it's for library.
Oh, can you do that upstairs?
Yeah. Just take it.
Can I do it now?
Go ahead.
Sure.
So I had something to say about goals.
Yeah.
So just right before we got on here, I was meeting with my colleague, Tara, about we're going to make a presentation for middle school students about like how to learn. And we've got this great exercise where I have a list of 15 words, and I project it on the screen, and I tell the students, count the number of vowels in my list of words. Okay, and then I give them 45 seconds to count the vowels. I take it away, and then I tell them to write down as many words as you can remember.
Yeah.
They can't. They're not going to be able to do it. They'll maybe get like 2 of the words, something like that. And then you go back and tell them, now they know that they're supposed to memorize the list of words, so they know what their goal is. And I tell them that there's like a structure to the list of words. And like there's a structure to it. And then they can memorize all 15 words, no problem, super quick. And the major difference is that they knew what their goal was. Like, if you're doing all this work, they were working really hard, counting all the vowels, and not actually getting closer to their goal.
Yeah.
But they were working hard. Is much different than you know what your goal is, and you know the steps to get there, and that's what you work really hard at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Louis Simmons always says it does no good to be good in the wrong exercises.
Yeah.
And how
That
often
makes
are
sense.
you doing just super hard things?
Yeah.
And you're like, why is this not working? And it's like, well, what are you trying to do? And it's like, if you're trying to run a marathon and you're doing pull-ups, it's like, yeah, that was really hard.
Yeah.
Great, you can do 100 in a row, but you
you're
haven't
not closer
ran.
to your goal.
You're no closer, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it is super important to find that person. So number one, find out what your goal is. And then find that person who is doing the thing that you want to do or has done the thing that you want to do,
Yeah.
and let them help you set up the steps.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I think that when it comes to finding a coach, one of the biggest things is being vulnerable, right? So like actually saying where you're at,
honest about it.
Oh yeah, and man,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that was one of the big thing. So when I was working with Angelo, every week, I would be hopping on a call, and my stomach would be in knots, especially because I would I knew, like, so if I wasn't doing something that I was supposed to be doing, and I knew that and for whatever reason, whether it was like, hey, I was putting out these fires because I screwed these other things up, whatever it was. But I knew that there was some accountability there. And the cool thing is that I always knew that he cared, that like whether I did it or not. And but having that accountability was so important to just continuously making progress, because you're gonna screw up.
Did you feel like you could be vulnerable during your first few meetings, or did it take a while for you to get there?
It definitely took a few.
Yeah, because you want to like impress the person that you're like. I know I'm pretty great already.
Which is so funny because if you go and seek out a coach who has done the things that you want to do, why in the world would you be able to impress them with your skills? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, but you do. Everybody does.
But you do.
Like the human condition.
Right.
Like, I don't want you to think that I'm not good. Yeah.
But yeah. Finding that vulnerability, I think is super huge, and being able to let them help you with the steps. Because again, if you go, I know.
Yeah. You just close it off.
Yep.
You're not open to receiving. Yeah.
Now, would you say that you have a coach now?
That's such a good question. So I don't have a formal coach. I have a lot of informal mentors, I'd say. But yeah, I feel like I should get a coach for something.
I'll tell you what, that was.
I have you.
There you
and
go.
The other coaches at the gym.
There you
go. To work toward my
fitness goals.
Fitness goals.
Well, one of the things that when I was looking up what a coach is, when it started talking about a sports coach, it said that a coach is often surrounded by a support staff, which I think is super cool. And that is one of the most important things about having a coach, is that you're not just getting their expertise, you are getting everyone that they're surrounded themselves with.
Yeah.
And hopefully they are continuously learning. So they're finding, what is the next thing that I need to know, and then expanding from there. Because now, when you bring that problem that they might not have had getting to where you want to be, then they can go ask their mentor, whether it's books or other people or whatever it is. I feel like they have to have a coach too.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll take it back, because I'm taking a series of webinars right now that are all together with the National Tutoring Association.
Okay.
And I talked to you about this because the training is focuses on tutoring, academic coaching, and mentorship, and the differences between those three things and what makes a good coach, mentor, tutor. And the webinars are all put on by like 3 different people that do like multiple of these things. And they're very intentional. All of these webinars are, what's the word when they're like working together? They're
collaborating.
Yeah, so like all the people who are giving the webinars collaborate with each other. And it's all guiding me towards a specific thing. So that's like a short term, because there's like short term coaches and there's longer term coaches. And then like lifetime coaches, I think that would be like mentorship. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I remember hearing that a coach stands in front of you, stands beside you, and then stands behind you.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
You should be at some point outgrowing that coach.
Yeah.
And not maybe not even because they don't have the information anymore or whatever. It's just maybe you pivoted, and now like you're going this way. Actually, I like to think of Suzanne. So Suzanne is our kids, one of our kids' violin teachers, and you know she's had multiple people where they are just rock stars. Yeah. And she had to say, you have to go to another coach.
You must go to another teacher. And she'll like make the connection. That's what your coaches did too. They like made a connection for you and said, okay, we're done here. You're ready for the next step.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's a really good sign of a good coach, good teacher, is letting them fly. You got to, like you're building the wings and then letting them go.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
So there you go. Get a coach, and so find out what you want, number one, and then find somebody who's doing the things that you want to do, and then make sure that you're setting up the goals with them and communicate with them. Yeah. And so anybody who is watching, if you want to reach out, so you guys can reach me at CrossFit Chicago Heights on Facebook, or CrossFit_Chicago_Heights on Instagram. But yeah.
Yeah, this was good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Nice to be Eric's replacement for a day.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you next Tuesday for Do That But Better. Talk to you soon.